So, welcome to week 3 of Yoga One. This week we'll be focusing on seated poses. And in that regard, I'll be introducing you to a little teeny bit of Ashtanga yoga. Ashtanga is a word that you've probably seen in the Eight Limbs of Yoga book, because the Eight Limbs of Yoga in the Yoga Sutras by Patanjali are called the Ashtanga Yoga, Eight Limbs of Ashtanga Yoga. So don't confuse that use of the word Ashtanga with Ashtanga Yoga. Um, it's a term that Patanjali used, and Ashtanga Yoga is a style of yoga, and it is about, it's got different series. The first series is about 75 poses, all done in the same prescribed order. Um, so it's sort of like Tai Chi in that regard, where everything's done in or if you've ever done any martial arts forms or Pumse, is very much like that, except that we're doing different yoga poses with breath. And I have this nice waterproof card because you also get very hot doing it. But this card, this is hard to find. I've had this thing for probably 13 years. So what I did for all of you is there's a website called Samyak Yoga that's in the syllabus. And if you go to that website, you should be able to get something you can print out that has these same poses on it. Today, and it starts off with sun salutes, it moves into some standing poses, some of which we did last week, and then it moves into some seated poses. So we're going to skip to the part of this that is seated. And most of the time I have it memorized, but sometimes I forget. So I'm going to have this with me just in case I forget. But if you're looking for it in the syllabus, it's not, all the poses are not written out, but you can print that out and have the exact same thing. Also, if you go to week 6, there'll be a really nice video done by Richard Miller, who my teachers studied with. And he's semi-retired now, but it's very nice, and I probably will talk about him in class a little bit as far as his practice is concerned. It's beautiful, and it's hard to do the way he does because of his anatomy. He's got very long arms. So anyway, without any further ado, let's start off by warming up with a couple sun salutes. They're not seated, but then we'll move down to the ground from there. So let's get to it. So I'm going to be at the front of my mat again. I've got my 2 blocks on either side, 2 sun salutes. You don't have to stay with me. I'm going to do this for the video, but if you prefer to move at a different rate of speed, or if you want to do a few more, feel free to pause the video as need be. So I'm going to just start by finding my feet beneath me for a moment, just taking a little time and noticing the sensations that are present in my body, scanning through from head down to your feet, slowly from the head, neck, shoulders and arms, chest and back, belly and buttocks, legs and feet. Just noticing with no judgment. Noticing your breath. You're breathing through the mouth or through the nose or through a combination of the two. Just checking in before any movement starts. And then let's bring our hands to our heart and take a nice deep breath in and hold the breath in. This is called Kumbhaka. It's a slight pause of the breath. And that's to help us synchronize. And then on the next exhale, drop your hand. Inhale, reaching up. Exhale, folding forward. Inhale, gazing out. Exhale, step the right foot back, lower the right knee to the ground. Inhale into crescent pose. Exhale, hands back down. Inhale, step the left foot back to down dog and breathe. Walk the dog, wag the tail. And on your next inhale, lift up that right leg. Exhale, step it forward, lower the left knee. Inhale into crescent on the other side of your body. Exhale the hands back down. Inhale, step the left foot forward, lengthen to the halfway point. And exhale, fold. Inhale, unfold. And exhale, bring hands to your heart. On the next breath, inhale, reaching up. Exhale, fold. Inhale, lengthen. Exhale, step the left foot back, lower the left knee. Inhale into crescent. Exhale, back down. Inhale, step the right foot back to down dog. And breathe. On your next inhale, lift the left leg up. Exhale, step it forward, lower the right knee. Inhale into crescent. Exhale the hands back down. Inhale, step the right foot forward. Lengthen the spine. And exhale, fold. Inhale, unfold. And exhale, bring hands to your heart. So that should have warmed you up a little bit. I have a little cheat sheet here. And we're going to move to our knees now for gate pose. So if you have any kind of an issue with your knee, I happen to have one. So I'm going to have something soft, my blanket, to put my knees on. And then I'm going to have a block. Remembering you can have it tall, medium height, or you can have it low. So you want to have that off to the side. And then allow your one leg to extend out away from you. And we're going to simply let your hand come to the block. That doesn't feel right. So I'm going to go lower. And I'm going to extend the body into a nice straight line. I might even go all the way down to the ground. And breathe. I'm going to push up now and do that same thing on the other side. So this is sort of like mimicking triangle pose and side angle pose, except on your knee. This being more like triangle pose and the last one being more like side angle. And check in with your breath. And then we'll come back down and change sides. So I'll move the block over to the other side. Extend that other leg out. And then I'm going to do them in reverse, just so that I can keep going back and forth between sides. So this is gate latch closed. And then we'll go the other way. Open. Breathing. And then bring yourself to seated. A little cheat. Cat-cow. We're going to do a cat-cow routine, and then we're going to come to completely seated. So we're still actually on our hands and knees. If you have any kind of an issue with your hands, and I think I said this the last time we did cat-cow, that you could roll up the end of the mat and let your palms be on the mat, fingertips on the floor. And then we're just going to arch the back up and let it sway down. Just let yourself have some movement for the spine. Let your breath move with your head. Inhaling as your head comes up. Exhaling as the head goes down. As the head comes up, the belly is expanding. Inhaling. Contracting as your head goes down. The last time, this is all we did. But we're going to do an entire little sequence here with cat-cow. So if at any point during this sequence your palms or your wrists start to hurt, feel free to roll up the edge of your mat. So we're going to come back to neutral in the middle, and then take whichever leg you feel so inclined to do, and extend it out behind you. So don't let your hip come up. You want the hips to be parallel with the ground. And the other thing you need to do is to make sure that the wrist of the hand that's going to be supporting you is right underneath your shoulders. You don't want it the shoulder back or too far forward. You want it stacked right over top of the wrist. So having that leg extended out now, this is optional. If you want, you can extend the opposite arm out and just try to hold that. You can tuck your back toe like a little kickstand if you like, or you can flatten it out. That'll be a little harder. This is a phenomenal pose for back strengthening. And unfortunately, I can tell you that from experience. So we are pulling in the belly as we do this. We are working with our balance and therefore the back. You can throw it off a little bit more by bringing the elbow and knee together and then open. Maybe add the breath with this, exhaling as they touch, inhale as they open. If at any point your supporting hand gets tired, just take a little rest. Child's pose is how we take a break in yoga. I'll show that to you in between sides. You can just stop for a moment right now if you need it. When you get to close to 10 or so of these, then we can stop. Maybe keep the leg extended out. Bend the knee and lift for the buttocks. Squeezing. And then you can open. Some people like to call this fire hydrant. And then we'll just take a little break. Child's pose will be pushing back your buttocks over your heels. You can extend your arms out, or you can let your arms be back by your sides. So whenever you need to signal in a yoga class that you need a break, child's pose is your friend for that. So now we're going to move on to the other side. First, checking out the wrist is right underneath of the shoulder. That's going to be supporting you. Lifting the leg up, but making sure it's not too high. It's just parallel with the ground. And then extending the opposite arm if you like. And holding that, breathing. Engaging the abs. We talked about that last week. And then bringing the elbow and knee together. Exhaling as they come together. Inhaling as they open. And then bringing that hand back down, but keep the leg out and then up and down for the buttocks. And fire hydrant. For the glute med. And then let the leg come back down. Maybe let's just go ahead and take a child's pose to finish this off. And we'll come up to sitting. So we're going to do the seated twist routine that we did the first week. And then we're going to move from that into the Ashtanga sequence. So I'm going to pull my Ashtanga's cheat card up here so that it's ready to go. Don't really need it for this twisting sequence. So I'm leaning back on my hands. My fingertips are facing my buttocks. As I exhale, the knees drop to one side. Inhale as they come up. Exhale as they drop to the other side. Back and forth. Letting the spine get a bit of a twist, the body getting a twist as well. And the next time that your knees are over to your right side, let's just pause there. And then we're going to spin around so that you're facing away from your legs and come down to your forearms. Hold this twist. Last week in the pranayama video, there was a little bit of Kapalabhati where you take a deep breath in and then slow puffs of exhale. So this is a spot where you could do that. And then we're going to stay down on the lower arm. Extend the top leg and the top arm away from each other. Lift them off the ground. Pull in opposite directions. And then on exhale, let them come together. Touch elbow and knee and open. And then on this next one, keep them both extended out. Bend the knee, reach around behind you and find the ankle, or use your strap to find the ankle and pull the leg back. Pull the knee back just a little bit until you feel a stretch on the thigh, the front of the thigh. Stretching that quadricep. And then let that go, push up. And we're going to let the knees drop over to the other side. Let yourself come all the way around. Forearms down on the ground. Breathing. And then open, letting yourself be supported on the bottom forearm. Extend the top leg out and extend the top arm away from you in opposite directions. And then bring the elbow, knee together, exhale. Inhale as they open and keep going. And then keep them extended out. Bend the knee, reach around, find the ankle or use your strap. Let the knee track back just a little bit until you feel the stretch on the quadricep. No need to go any further than that. And then let that go. Come on up and sit on your mat with your legs both extended out, feet flexed. We're moving into the Ashtanga seated poses, staff pose being the first one. So feet are flexed. Think about your legs inner spiraling in towards each other a little bit. Hands are by your sides. Chin is tucked, but head is erect. Feel almost as if there was a string pulling you on your head, pulling you up more. And just breathe. With Ashtanga, each pose is held for about 5 breaths. And I will shorten up some of these. Very next thing actually will be an example of that. We do Ujjayi breathing, so with a nice open throat, breathing in and out through the nose. Make it sound as if you have ocean waves in your ears, and maybe Darth Vader. I sometimes will call this Darth Vader breath. The next part of this series is to forward fold. There's A, B, C, and D. So A is just holding your toe. B is over the tops of the toes. C is kind of around the sides, and then D is having your wrist and going over your feet. I am going to opt for just holding my toes tonight. I'm feeling a little tight. Breathing 5 Ujjayi breaths. And then letting that go. So you can do all four. If you want to do something like that, you can pause and do that. Or we're just going to move on to reverse plank. So with reverse plank, you want your toes pointed. You're going to reach behind you with your palms on the ground, fingertips towards your buttocks. And you're going to try to lift your hips up as high as you can. So the bottoms of your feet, the soles of your feet are reaching for the floor. Now, if you get leg cramps, this might not work for you. If that happens, just come down. And don't hold it more than 5 breaths. So we're going to lift the hips as high as we can. In class, we might even normally try to do this with a partner, letting them take a strap around your hips and pulling you up. And after your 5th breath, you can lower yourself back down. Taking a breath. So we're going to move on to a seated half lotus. And I don't think I need this one for that, but I do need my strap. So seated half lotus. Most of the time you're going to move your right side first. Sometimes when I'm demonstrating, I reverse things, and I forget on videos that I really shouldn't do that. Plus, my right knee is my bad knee, so sometimes I do this reverse just because of my knee. But what we're going to do here to start, we'll see how this goes, is strap this foot, and we're going to reach around behind us and hold on to the strap. Now, you may, and I probably can on the other leg, get your foot with your hand. You might, if you're really, really tight, or if you've got tight hamstrings, you might need a second strap to reach for your toe, or you can just hold on to whatever part of your shin you can get. 5 breaths here. And then we'll change sides. Do the same thing on the left. So strapping the foot, and you can see on this side, I can get my hand all the way around. So no strap needed. The trick is to kind of play with the idea of wrapping your hand around your back, and also you have to have a fairly flexible knee. This knee flexes much better than the other one. 5 breaths. And then let this go. So next, we are going to kind of have my kids had Easter grass out the other day. My grandkids keep finding it everywhere. You're going to have the leg bent behind you. I'm going to show you on my left side just because it's more cooperative what it really should look like. You want your thighs parallel. You don't want to be quite sitting on this, but close to sitting on it. And what we're going to add, I'm going to show you on the other side. Now go back to this side. We're going to add using the block for this. Do you see how everything's kind of rolled out? That's bad posture, and that's a bad habit to get into. We want the leg rolled upright. So for me, since I'm an external rotator, I'm going to sit on the inside edge of this block and let my hips sink down a little bit. That takes me into better alignment. And I'm just going to reach for my toe. 5 breaths. If you are an internal rotator with your legs, some people are. If you W sit, you're an internal rotator, then you may not need the block. But if you're an external rotator, if you every time you sit, your legs do that, you're going to need a block. If every time you sit, your legs do that, maybe you won't. So let's see. Going to the other side. Grabbing for the toe and counting to 5 breaths, Ujjayi breaths. And we'll let this go. Come back for Janu Sirsasana. This is sort of like seated tree is what I've always called it. I'm not sure exactly what the name is in English, but it looks like a seated tree pose. And it has an A, B, and C to it. A is just sole of the foot up against the other leg. B, I'll demonstrate it on my good knee, is sitting on this. So my foot is at my groin, or that's B. And then C is my toes are kind of facing out. This is kind of where I am on this side. And you want this heel to be straight up, perpendicular to the ground, which I'm not there yet with mine. You know, people that can do this have been practicing for like 40 years or are extremely flexible in their joints. So that's C. I'm going to choose A. And inhale up, exhale, fold. If you need a strap around your foot, if you can't quite reach it, you can always strap the foot. Five breaths. And change sides. Picking A, B, or C, whichever feels right for you. 5 breaths. And up. Next is Marichasana. So with Marichasana, you're going to have the starting leg, the right leg is going to be on the ground, not right up against the left leg. You want a space in between them because your body needs to kind of go in there. And I'm going to turn sideways for a moment because you can see that my shoulder is in front of my knee. If you cannot get your shoulder in front of your knee, then you're going to kind of bang up against your leg in trying to do this. So if you cannot get your shoulder in front of your knee, then you should just kind of hold on to the knee and twist into it. But if you can get your shoulder in front of the knee, then what you want to do, what works for me is to roll the hand around, and then the other hand's going to come back and meet it. If they don't quite meet, you can put a strap in between them too. That can help. You might need to set the strap up ahead of time, kind of wrapped around your body so that you can grab it wherever you are along that path. So leaning forward in between the foot and the leg, shoulders in front of the knee, wrapping the arm around the leg, and then interlacing the hands, and then coming back and making sure that the extended leg is straight, the foot is flexed, And if you like, you can try to sit up. And then let's do this on the other side. So I want you to think about this because we're going to be doing a few more with Marichasana, but I kind of was here and turned away from it, right? That was one. And then the other one is here. So you're going to kind of do both of them anyway. So this is a shortcut to it. If you want to just do one knee one direction and the other direction and then change to the other leg, you can do that as a shortcut to this. Some of the other parts of it though, if we go back to starting with the right knee bent, I'm going to take my left foot and put it up here. And this is really more for yoga too, but if you really are enjoying this and you want to go further with it, put your left foot up on the thigh as high up as you can on the right. Then bend the right knee. Then lean forward so that that left knee comes down to the ground. So now my shoulder is in front of my knee. Hug that knee into your body and then try to get your hands together. Each one of these gets a little bit harder. So that's Marichasana B. Don't know if this right knee will cooperate. And then for C, we go back to straight leg with a bent knee. But this time, we're going to the outside. And you can try to bind. That's where I am with my practice. I used to have that bind with a teacher assist, but with my back issues and all, there's just an age. Yoga is a practice. It's not a performance, and I'm okay with that. I'm still practicing yoga. So then one other thing you can do with Marichasana is to, instead of having the leg on top, you can fold it underneath and then take this foot to the outside and do the same thing. So there's all kinds of different ways of doing this. Let's try it on the other side. So left knee bent. Now I'm going to the outside. Or for C, or for D, excuse me, I can take the foot underneath, and I can also take the other foot to the outside of the knee. So just a few different things. Play with Marichasana. See what feels right for you in your practice. This isn't about us all coming up with the same practice. You need to find what feels right and feels good for you. So the last pose that we're going to do out of the Ashtanga series is boat pose. And this is one that's Pilates-ish. So I'm going to turn sideways. I want to be rooted down into my sitting bones. And boat pose can be anywhere from toes kind of on the floor, getting a leg cramp, to legs completely straight. One thing you can do as you're working up to it, if that makes you nervous, is to put your feet on the wall. I don't know if you can't really see what I'm doing here. Let me see if I can do this a little sideways. So my feet are on the wall, and I'm just kind of using the wall as a prop to hold myself up. So that's a perfectly fine thing to do if you need something to help you to get started. I'm comfortable kind of here. And if you're shaking, that's all really normal. So hold this for about 5 breaths. You probably have done that already. And then take a little break and go back and do a second one. One more up. We're going to just do a third one. Normally there's 5. We'll just do 3. And then what we're going to do is go into up dog. So this is just belly down. And then whatever feels good to you, push up as high as you can. If you just want to be on your forearms, this is fine. If you want to go up a little higher, you can come to your hands and go as high as you want, but you should feel a great stretch in your belly while you're doing this. And then go back into a child's pose for a moment. When you feel ready, come back to sitting. And that's all we're going to do with Ashtanga today, or this week. So we're now moving on to our breath work. And depends on the class. Every class so far has been different. Last fall, this next one was that group's favorite breath work, favorite pranayama. Last spring, they all love Durga, that 3-part breath. Let's see what you all like. So we're going to learn single nostril breathing today. So with single nostril breathing, it is exactly what the name implies. You're breathing through one nostril at a time. And what we're going to do is use the thumb and the ring finger. Those are the two fingers that are going to close off nostrils. Some people get real lazy and they use one hand and then the other. That's not really a good yogic practice to get into. If you use these two fingers, then you've got these two peace fingers that can be right on your third eye. And this whole forehead has the vagus nerve runs all through it, and there's all kinds of nerves. So anything you can do to massage or engage with the nerves in your forehead is calming to you. The vagus nerve is the nerve that helps us to move into a state of calm, rest and digest, and away from a state of fight or flight, sympathetic nervous. We don't want that. We want parasympathetic. So to move into that, we're going to kind of be moving these fingers back and forth, and those two can be on your forehead. But just to start right now, just start with your right nostril open and just breathe in and out through that nostril. And what you'll find is that your breath slows down quite naturally because you're trying to push the same amount of air through half the space. Or maybe even less if you've been breathing through your nose. And then breathe through your left nostril, change. And you may find that one nostril is working better than the other one. Pinky's kind of just hanging out here, not doing much. But this is not single nostril breathing. Yes, you're breathing through a single nostril, but it's not the idea of it. The idea is you breathe in through one, then you make the change, and you exhale through the other one. Don't change yet. Then breathe in through that same nostril, then you make the change and you exhale through the other one. So the rule to keep in mind is I only change after the inhale. That way, half of 2 breaths is shared by that nostril and half of 2 breaths is shared by the other one. It goes back and forth. So I'm going to start, and whenever you feel comfortable with it, you can join in. So I'm going to start with my fingers on my third eye. My left nostril is closed, breathing in through the right, changing, exhaling through the left, inhale through the left, change, exhale through the right, inhale through the right, change after that exhale, exhale through the left, inhale through the left, change and exhale through the right, inhale through the right, change and exhale through the left. Only change after the inhale. Inhale through the left, change and exhale through the right. I'm going to let my voice fade away. You keep going. After you finish your next complete round and you're back to exhaling through your right, just let your hand drop down and breathe through your nose first. And get whatever you need for your corpse pose, Shavasana. And I'll meet you back here in just a moment. So you all are going to do whatever is necessary to feel comfortable, whether that's putting something under your knees. Maybe the other alternative is to maybe use this as a pillow for your head. Do whatever you like. Find your own comfort. If you're cold, maybe cover up. If there's lights on around you, have an eye pillow for over your eyes. Arms can be out away from your body. I like palms up. Just to let your body relax. So notice, like I just noticed, I don't know if you noticed what my legs did. I noticed that I was holding tension in my legs, and my legs were not completely relaxed, and I just was able to kind of exhale and let them drop open just a little bit more. So they were kind of here, and I just let them drop open. So just scan through your body and look for any muscles that are engaged that don't need to be. Your shoulders shrugged, your jaw clenched, your knees holding something up, legs relaxed. Just let everything relax. Let yourself move into stillness. I'm going to come up to do our meditation, but you all stay put. Stay still. If you're still trying to find your stillness, keep working on it. Scan through your body. Notice what's present, starting with your head, moving down, down, down to your feet. I'm reading 285 today. In class, I'll read a different one on Thursdays. This is Pratyahara. Better than any ritual is the worship achieved through wisdom. Wisdom is the final goal of every action. And that's from the Gita. That's like a Hindu story-ish Bible chapter. The second stage of the yoga path is the limb of Svadhyaya, or self-study. They are Pratyahara and Dharana, which means turning inward in concentration, having laid a foundation of equanimity and health with the limbs of tapas, or spirituality, in action. We now embark on a journey of self-discovery. By and large, the limbs of tapas are devoted to separating the true from the false, the real from the unreal, physically, mentally, emotionally, and spiritually. Tapas is the process of cleaning house. The limbs of Svadhyaya are a time of turning inward and focusing upon the insights made in tapas. Pratyahara is a fascinating moment in this process. the juncture at which we go from distraction to direction. This is a turning point, an intersection of two planes of existence. My favorite example of pratyahara in daily life is the first day or two of vacation. You have already done the work, performed your tapas, you have cleared the time, made the arrangements, paid your bills, farmed the dog out to your in-laws, survived the travel ordeal, and now you are finally here. Or are you? My experience from the first day or so of vacation is the gradual process of letting go of my life at home and embracing the entirely new world of vacation. Initially, I am still absorbed by some final interaction back at home, some final detail. I am usually tired and distracted. Then, gradually, as I shift focus, I begin to relax into the moment. This is the process of pratyahara. But instead of turning our attention toward vacation, we turn our attention inward toward the light. Dharana is much simpler to understand. It is holding one's attention on the light. Dharana is the development and utilization of our powers of concentration. Pratyahara and Dharana together make possible the acquisition of wisdom. Having let go of distraction and turned a focused mind inward, we can begin to truly plumb the depths of our souls. We connect to our truth, to our true selves. In my own life, this was the point at which I began to live from my intuition. I began to cultivate and honor my own intuitive powers. I began to listen to the promptings of my heart. I began to value stillness and silence. My time on the mat went to my deeper place. We can start where we are by simply becoming aware of the process by which we arrive somewhere. Note the moment, the point where your experience departs from resistance and moves into understanding. Begin to witness how it is you gain wisdom from your actions. Begin to return your attention to your body and to your breath. As you feel ready, moving the small muscles first, the fingers and the toes. And when you're ready for more movement, moving the large muscles next, the arms and the legs. Bending your knees and allow your body to roll over to one side, pausing in the fetal position for a couple breaths. And then using the palms of your hands to support you, help yourself back up to sitting. Let your hands touch the earth. Thank the earth for holding you here in these seated postures for this past hour. And then inhale, let the arms rise up, bringing the palms of the hands together. Exhale, let the hands come down to your heart. Head bows, eyes closed. Take one last deep breath in and exhale. eyes open and head lifts. Namaste. Thank you for being here. One last thing I forgot about single nostril breathing. Be aware of the time of day you're doing it. If you do it in the morning and you find it energizing, wonderful. If you do it at night and you find it helpful to go to sleep, wonderful. If you do it at night and you feel like you can't sleep, then perhaps you need to be doing it in the morning. If you do it in the morning and you get sleepy, perhaps you need to be doing it at night. So just become aware as you play with single nostril breathing, how it helps you. You may find it helpful before you take a test to center yourself and focus. So have a great week. Namaste.